So,
Okay.
all right, Cherokee. So what we'll go ahead and do is that the good thing is that you have the website. Now the website is going to be workforcenow.adp.com. So
Okay.
when you log onto the website, you'll go ahead and use your username and your password that you already have. If at any time
Mhm.
you ever forget your username or password, you'll go ahead and click on the user ID forgot user ID and password on the first page. Okay.
Okay.
So now when you log in, you have your resources, which are going to be up in the top, which is going to be your home, resources, myself, my team, and reports. The main
Okay.
functions that you're really going to be using is going to be more of your resources. When you click on your resource, you'll see a little bit more of where in the future we'll have all the benefit information, the policies, all the kind of news that we have. Also, under this main page, we're going to be kind of more of like the employee spotlight, if you will. So this will be like our hub of information. So you'll come here to log in and any kind of new news with the company. Well, all of this will be located here on this front page. So we're going to be updating a lot of stuff to this. So this is the first phase out of one of many that we're going to be moving forward with ADP. Now, the good thing too is that now since ADP, all the kinks, we've had a lot of kinks this morning, but this now with finally at the end of the day, you now have these options where right on the page, right in the middle of your page, you'll have your My Time, which is your
Mhm.
clock in, your clock out, My Time card, and annual summary. Okay. Also, to the left hand side, or excuse me, the right hand side, you have another option where it says My Time Off. Now, all the time that you accrued with the company will all be moved over here. Okay, so anything that you haven't used will be rolled over and be put into my time off. Okay, so these are all. This is your bank of all your available time. Now, moving forward, now as of day one, we start accruing at that new structure, which we'll be covering a little bit more when it comes to your benefit days about getting all those accrualments. And so all that info is on there. Now, when trying to log into the system, when you get here in the middle of the day, you'll go ahead and first thing you'll log into ADP and you'll use the clock in function. Okay, so this will clock you in for the day. Then, when you're leaving for lunch, you'll use the clock out function. And then, when you clock back in from lunch, you'll use the clock in lunch, or excuse me, the clock in function. And then, when you leave for the day, the clock out function. Now, when you click on My Time Card button, go ahead and click on that button right in the middle of the screen.
The clock in? Or
The
no,
one
my
right
time
below.
card. I'm sorry. So can you see my other screen? So you can see this, right?
Now I can see that. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Yeah. All right. Okay.
seeing. So now, when you clock in, you are taken to your time card. Okay. So you see that your time card, you have your buttons where you have your two rows. You have your clock in and your clock out, and it has everything of the addition of the work week. So your payroll weeks are going to go from Sunday to Saturday. So from Sunday from one Sunday 110 to Saturday 116. So we just came into a perfect pay period. So all your new pay moving for next week will all be or for the next 2 weeks will be calculated through ADP and paid on the next on that first payroll.
Okay.
Now, kind of a quick thing too is that for your payroll, since you set up with direct deposit, we'll go ahead and check that here in a little bit. I'll show you some more functions that we have up at the top under myself. But the first check is going to be a live check, and then afterwards we'll cycle and will be a direct deposited check. Okay.
Okay.
So also too for this options, if you see up at the top where it says current pay period, that drop down function, do you see that up there at the top? Okay, yeah. If you click that, you have your current pay period as well as next pay period, previous pay period, date ranges, and historical pay periods. So click on the next pay period for me. The next pay period will take you to the next pay cycle. So you can kind of see exactly what paycheck is going to pay what and when the pay cycles are going to end. So for the this next pay cycle from 124 to 130, then 131 to 2 6 will be your next pay period. Okay.
And that will be the one. That will go direct deposit, correct?
Yes, this will be.
Okay.
Okay. Have you already set up for direct deposit?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Um, we'll go ahead and double check something right now too here in the system, but I just wanted to verify. Now, also, if you use the drop down function, again, if you click that right there, you can go to previous pay period. So when you click on that, it's going to go to the previous pay period back in December. So even though we were using the other system, it will still be able to backlog that last pay period. So this is how you'll be able to toggle back and forth between past pay period, current pay period, and future pay period. Now, one last thing, if you go down and you select that option one more time under this option, you're going to do date ranges. So if you go down to date ranges and you type in up right in those little date boxes right next to it, if you type in 12/1/2015, okay, and then if you go to 12/31/2015, you'll be able to see, let me make sure we put that 5 on there, and then hit find. So now you see all the different pay weeks that were in that month. So you can definitely see all of the regular time that you worked, if it hit any kind of overtime. So you can see all this information here. Okay. So this is how you'll be able to toggle back and forth between your actual time card. Okay. Now, if you go ahead and hit the home page for me, please.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to show you something. Now go ahead and use your clock in function. So then you see that the operation has been successful. So you see that you clocked in. Now the time right there on your time card, do you see, is that your accurate time zone that you're in right now?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. We just wanted to verify, make sure everyone's time zones are correct. Okay. So now go ahead and click on the clock out function for me. Okay. So now you can see down there in the bottom where it says when you clocked in, where you clocked out. So it's showing kind of a little running history. Now click back on my time card. Okay. So now when you look down on your time card, go to
I gotta
current.
change it.
Right. Perfect. Now you can see that it's clocking you in and out. But mind you, it's telling you there's an error because it tried using the same time. So it's like, how did you clock in? How did you clock out? So just for today, because today it's been kind of a little crazy, we're going to go ahead and do your manual entry where you can manually enter your time. Moving forward, your managers will be the ones who will adjust your time card. Okay.
Okay.
So right now on time in, if you go ahead and click time in over the 418, there you go, on that first column. There you go. Double click that and go ahead and enter the time that you came in today. And then you can type in 8. And the awesome thing. And then, so go ahead and put your lunch. Now, the cool thing about ADP is that if you just type in the number and then the first letter, either A or P, it will automatically recognize it of what time you're trying to put. So what time did you come back from lunch?
Well, I left for lunch around 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Okay, so go ahead and put 1P and then hit tab. And automatically it will locate it that it was 1 p.m. So that's how you would adjust the time. Now, one of the things I wanted to show you is, in the far right corner, bottom right corner where it says preferences, click on preferences, and then go ahead and where it says rows per day, go ahead and select 2.
Oh, okay.
So now it shows you when you clocked in and then when you clock back in. So you can go ahead and put the time that you came back in. Perfect. And then you can hit tab. And then now all you're needing is when you clock out for the day. But now let me tell you, every time you do one line transaction, you always want to go back and press save. So this way, when you press save, you can go ahead and save that transaction. Because sometimes if you try entering everything in one shot, it won't save everything. So just kind of be mindful of going back in and saving each line item as you enter it. Okay.
Okay.
But also, what you can do too is, where you see 111, that last bottom one, that third one, because you know how there's three columns
Hmm. Oh,
or three
okay.
rows. If you go over to the left hand side where it's the first little box right there, click on that. This is where you can go ahead and delete a row. So you can add a blank row or you can add a different row. Let's see. Did that? Did that? Go ahead and click on that again. Click there. Delete row.
Hmm.
Hit save for me.
Preference.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, save.
Save. Okay.
Hmm. Well, that's a little odd. Okay. Well, now we know. Okay, so for this option, what I'm thinking is that because there's no time at all entered there, that's why there's nothing to delete because there's nothing entered, even though you have an additional line item. So don't worry about that one. But now moving forward, you won't have to worry about doing manual entries because the moment you get in, you'll clock in, clock out for lunch, clock back in from lunch, and then clock out from the day using those functions that are on your main page.
Okay.
Okay,
Got it.
perfect. So then if you go back to your home screen,
Mhm.
back up at
Right.
the
Home
top, there
screen.
you go, at that option.
Um, are you there are unsaved changes? Are you sure you want to continue? Should I go back and save?
Go ahead and hit no. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Nothing to say. Okay,
Just say yes.
perfect. Yes. All right. Perfect. So now since you have those functions there at the top, go ahead and click on myself.
All right.
So under myself, you have the option where it's personal information. So this personal information, this drop down will allow you to go to your personal profile. So if you click over your personal profile,
Oh, sorry.
this is where you'll be able to put emergency contacts, um, update your personal contacts, change your address, upload pictures, change names, all that kind of good stuff. You can do this from this page. So if you ever decide to move, this is where you'll be able to update your mailing address.
Oh, got it.
Okay. Now, if you go back to myself, and if you go to myself and under talent profile is where you'll be able to go in and adjust any kind of or add any kind of additional awards, training, certifications. We're still working updating this system. So this way, if you have like your CPA or if you have your real estate license or if you have HVAC certification, this is where you'll be able to house this information.
All right.
Okay. Now, if you go back up to myself again. So under myself, if you go down to pay and you click on pay, this is where you have your direct deposit info, your pay statements, tax withholdings. This is where you'll be able to update your information. So first off, as far as direct deposits, if you click on direct deposit for me, let me see something if we have your info here. Awesome.
Yep.
So we have everything that is still here in the system. So I will have to double check to see about the live check because if ADP is already up and running with your direct deposit, I don't see why there wouldn't be a concern still carrying it over, but I'll verify with that for you. But if you wanted to add additional bank account by clicking on the add button on the far left hand side, you can click on that add function. And this is where you can add a different bank account. So if you want some of your money to go into one account, and then if you want some of your other paycheck to go to the Swiss bank account that no one knows about, that offshore account, you can go ahead and put money in there as well.
Absolutely.
So then you have that option as well too. So if you go back to myself, you also have the option under your statements as far as going to tax withholdings. If you go to tax withholdings, you have your tax info, and this is where you can update your federal. However, if you needed to update your state, you would need to get the form for Georgia and then send that in to us, and we would update that for you. That's another thing that's going to be part of the resources is the tax forms. All the updated federal and state taxes are going to be under resources.
Okay.
Okay, so that be looking out for that. That will be coming up here shortly in the next phases that we have. So then, if you go back to myself, okay, and you don't have to click on it, but under pay statements, this is where you get your pay statements, where you can print your pay statements, and then this is where you go paperless. Are you already set up to paperless?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. So then this way you won't get any kind of questions or comments from Judy Goldberg, who's our payroll and benefits coordinator, saying that you need to go paperless. Don't kill any trees. So this way you're already all set. Perfect.
Okay.
Now we already know about time and attendance. So if you go ahead and click over that for me, time and attendance. We did my time entry, so you're good with that. The other one that we're going to be going over is that next phase of training is going to be time off request. So if you click on that time off request, this is where you'll be able to request your time off through this function. Okay. So if you go ahead and click on that for me. This is where you'll be able to select anywhere on the calendar, depending on what you have in your bank, so you can request that time off. But again, we'll cover that more as a full company wide training when we're showing everyone how to do time off requests. Okay. But this is your ADP employee portal. So this is where you're going to be able to do some of just those functions that we kind of highlighted right now. But for the most part, for this training, we were just really wanting to focus on getting you registered, but you were already registered, so you're in the system, you're ahead of the game. Then also how to clock in and out, which you see those functions on there. And then you know how to clock in and out for the day. So when you're doing payroll, you won't have to worry about having your manager tell you why do you have any holes on your time card since you've already clocked in and out.
Okay.
Okay. Cherokee, is there any questions or concerns that you had while trying to navigate through everything here today?
No, it seems pretty straightforward. So, yeah, is
Perfect.
everything good to go?
Awesome. And then any other questions as far as dealing with any kind of payroll questions or HR questions like time or direct deposits? Pretty much you've covered every questions that have been covered in each of
Yeah.
the other sessions. So that's good.
Yes.
Awesome.
So yeah, I don't have any questions, not yet.
Not yet. Well, don't worry. But again, I know I kind of did this a little backwards since we jumped in, but again, me being part of the systems and training support, I work in the IT department. So if at any time you don't have a question, you have a question or concern with ADP or any kind of HR software, I support that. That's kind of my expertise. If you have any questions, you can send in a service desk ticket, and then we'll be more than happy to come out and assist you.
Okay. Awesome.
All righty, awesome. Well, again, if you don't have any questions, I think we're good to go on that training.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You have a good one.
All right. You too.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.